Let's get more analysis from Dr. Andreas Krieg, who is an assistant professor at the King's College London and joins us now in the studio. Thank you very much for coming in, Andreas. So, I mean, Saudi Arabia hasn't just started financing terrorism or money laundering, so why take this decision now?
Yeah, this is a good question. I mean, I think we have to see this as part of quite a long ranging negative PR campaign against Saudi Arabia over a long period of time. You know, what we've heard from Saudi Arabia since Mohammed bin Salman came in is basically one bad news after another, you know, the Khashoggi affair being probably the worst one. So the focus has been on Saudi Arabia. Plus, Saudi Arabia has been very much leaning outside, you know, going outside saying we're actually part of the self-declared anti-terrorism quartet and we're leading it. We are taking action against terrorism. They were quite loud against, you know, Qatar and accusing Qatar of sponsoring terrorism. And they have gone around the world, particularly Europe and the United States, saying under Mohammed bin Salman, this country will actually do more on terror finance, to counter terror financing and you know, clamping down on these illicit streams of finance in the country. Now, that has attracted a lot of attention, and I think anybody who has applied due diligence to what has actually happened in Saudi Arabia will realize that, or will have realized, including the European Union, that very little has been done. Quite on the contrary, under Mohammed bin Salman, much of the finances and financial operations in the country have become more opaque, have been more in the shadows. There has been less transparency, and I think this is something that the European Union wants to change. And they said, look, if you want to be taken seriously as a credible anti-counterterrorism partner, we need you to change this. And I think it's about putting pressure on Mohammed bin Salman in the light of this current negative press.
Although some European countries are still divided on this issue, yes, whether to back it or not, we'll find out in a month. But how serious will the implications be on Saudi Arabia?
Well, I mean, there's some European countries see the problem of putting Saudi on that list because it has huge ramifications for a country that is struggling economically and a country that is trying to do business with Europe. So any financial stream that is going into Saudi Arabia, any investment that Saudi Arabia is trying to attract also from the European Union, will impact or will be impacted by this kind of sanction. So there are a lot of governments in Europe who are on the, you know, very concerned about the fact that if Saudi is added, it will make it even harder to help out Saudi Arabia because after all, you know, Saudi Arabia is in a very bad economic place and nobody has an interest of Saudi Arabia failing, okay? So if this is being imposed and makes it even harder to bring money into Saudi Arabia, this is definitely not in the interest of all European states. But looking at, you know, the chatter in Brussels over the last couple of months, it seems that there is a majority of countries in the European Union who would support this European Commission recommendation today. So the impact for Saudi Arabia will be quite sour. They will say, okay, we're going to other markets, we can go to China, we can go to the United States, but it comes in light of further regulations, further sanctions from the US Congress as well on Saudi Arabia following the Khashoggi affair. So all that definitely doesn't look too good for Saudi Arabia.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much for coming and thank you for that insight, Andreas Krieg.